Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sandra's Stamping on Sundays, Sandra's Stamp and Craft Studio. I'm all excited today because I actually had something in mind a little way back that I need some choices made today. So I hope we've got some people going to join me today. It's going to be all about tips and techniques, tips and tricks with your intricate dies. There's a particular set that I'm going to be using today, and just wait to see if some people come on. You're not used to me being actually promptly on time, on the button. So, hey, I hope some people will come along. Anyway, I need to have my cut and emboss machine over here in a little while. So I will grab that. But in the meantime, I'm going to get you down onto the desk. Just make sure that that camera is all okay. Oh dear, it's droopy droops. Hey, let's just try and get that lined up for you. A little bit better. It's just sagging a little bit. And a little bit closer. There we go. And whoopsie doos. It's a bit, thinks it's had a little bit of alcohol today. Anyway, let me get you down onto the table here, and I will move you across. Unusual for nobody to be on here today. Oh, Lizzie, hello. Lizzie, thank you. I'm in the right place, aren't I? That's great. Excellent. Right, I don't need these bits here, so I'm just going to get those out of the way. What is that? That is the die set that I'm using, so I will just show you that in a sec. Hey, a couple over on YouTube as well. So that's great. So, decisions today. I want to ask you a few questions. Let me come back to the camera first. And now we've got a few more people joining. So think about today. What is today? Today is kind of not a special day, but it's a landmark. It's something that I thought, I know what I'm going to do today. You might think she's crazy. But today is the 25th of June. So, I'm just looking at the comments there, just see who else is joining. So 25th of June, what's special about today? Okay. So, what's going to happen? What happens on the 25th of the month? Or in 6 months' time, should I say, what's going to happen on the 25th of the month? Okay, big clue. Do your little sums. Guess what Sandra's doing today? There might be a little bit of a delay. I might have to answer this for you because I can't really carry on until I have some responses. Come along, put your thinking caps on. 6 months' time. I'm going to have to answer for you. Christmas! Well done, Lizzie. First one to comment. Okie doke. So guess what? I just got to be stupid, silly tonight, and we're going to make Christmas card. So I think it is actually my first one of this year. Sometimes I like to be a little bit ahead, but hey, I'm going to get you back down onto the table now. Just get that down there. So yes, hi Pam, yes, Christmas. So we're going to have a silly Christmas night tonight, okay? So I have pulled out some stuff. Some things I was thinking of using. I don't know where I've put my markers. That's for later. Okay, so go to the dies. Are the dies in there? No, that's the punch. I haven't put the marker in the dies. Look, leave those in there because you're going to make that decision next. Oh dear. I was being very good and very organised today, look, and it hasn't been so. So, I've got to find my dies. Where are my dies? So, I'm very limited as to what I've actually got by way of dies and stamps for Christmas. There is a tiny little section in here I'll try and find quickly. There's a few sets for Christmas. There's not loads. The annual catalogue only has a little taster. Hi Helen. Yes, I did do to Creativity Now yesterday. They messed up the European times a little bit in that there was only mentioned once about the UK time. Everywhere it was plastered was 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So I rocked in at just before 10 o'clock and it was actually 10 o'clock Europe time. So we missed the first hour. So I'm just waiting for the playback to be uploaded so I can watch the first hour. Who's just put bar humbug? Oh, there is some Christmas things in here, and you know what? I'm flicking through and I can't actually find. I wanted just to show you. There are a few. I thought it was nearer the beginning. But let's just carry on through. If I can show you, if I can't find them quickly, nope, can't find them quickly, then I will give up. No, we'll give up. Okay, so go to tonight then. One of the ones that I do have in my collection is this one here. It's Christmas Pinecone. Okay, so this is the set. It has 2 large dies. I have pre-prepped a few bits today because I'm going to be using this for something I'm prepping for July. If I just open my dies up, you'll see that there are some fir cones on here, and then I have 2 pieces here. I have left them on here because they've already been passed through, and I'm going to be teaching you some little tips and tricks. You'll think I'm absolutely crazy, but you will thank me later. Okay, so get those out of the way. So this is your your Christmas pine cone dies. There's 8 dies in there, so it's the 2 big ones. They layer up, and then the layering pine cones. So you've got 2 tops, 2 bottoms, and a top and a bottom on a larger size. Okay, so that's what we're going to use today. Yeah, bar humbug, it's Christmas. Yeah, you got it. Okay, so that's the first one. I need a background. We won't see a lot of background, as you can see around here, but I just feel that we might need some background. So you can make a decision later. I've got 4 folders out here. I'm going to leave those in, and 4 panels there. I'm also going to use the Alphabest bundle, which is this one down here. So this one here, I love it. Absolutely love it to bits. I'll get those down. So this is the stamp set. It held over from the last catalogue. It's a great one to have. It's letters and numbers. It's got borders round. I won't use these tonight because I'm keeping it quite simple, but these borders are great. I tend to just use the outline one most. I might show you one at the end. It's got all the little umlauts and the little thingies over the letters for the different foreign languages, and it's got all of the symbols. So there are actually 73 stamps in there. 73 stamps for £21. So there's some good stuff in there. All right, so I really love it, and I'm so glad it held over. And then of course we have the little punch. So if I leave that there for now and put the punch is down here, the punch is £16, and this is really easy to line up, and you'll see me do those today. Page 42, 43. Thanks, Pam. So I had markers in ready, and I didn't have the Christmas pages. 42. There we go. So you've got the anything you ever see highlighted in my catalogue are the ones that I own. So I have. So if you ever want to put a request in and you see something, then please do shout. So we've got Regal Reindeer that held over, Bryce's Glow, which held over, Perched in a Tree, which that could be a robin that held over. The Ringed with Nature held over. That's quite a big set. And Celebrate with Tags. I'm hovering on getting this one because I think that could be a good, because it's got Made with Love is lovely. It's got Happy Birthday, but it's got the Christmas in there. And the mitten, your balloons could be any occasion. It's kind of an all-rounder, I think. So I think I kind of quite like that. So that's all the Christmas in there. So you can see why I was a little bit stumped with what I was going to do. So let's take all of that away for the moment. And I'm going to start off, I'm going to go white on white tonight. Now, when I use these dies, my first recommendation, if you're making notes, is if you've got intricate dies, and if you're doing it in white or cream, vanilla, then I would recommend that you cut intricate dies in your thick cardstock. When you see me pulling these off the dies, you will see why that's kind of a good tip. So we'll talk it through as we go. So I'm going to score this in half this way, and then I'm going to cut it in half this way. There we go. So we've got 2 backgrounds there. So I will keep one and pop one in the back of the packet. I'm so pleased today because I was dead on time, which makes a big change, and I've cleared the memory so that I don't run out of space. And yeah, so So we're ready to go. So I'm going to start with the big one here. So your first one is, I'm using thick card. It might seem strange for an intricate die, but as you pull them off the die, you really, if they're just normal weight card, you might find that they might just snag a little bit, but I'm going to teach you some little tips as well as we go. So I've looked on the back of here and I've made sure that they've all been, definitely I can see there, they look like they're all cut through. So the next thing I do is I'm going to grab my catalogue. If I just move my bookmark into that page, whoops, so I can take the folder out, and that one into that page, so I can take that one out. There we go. I'm going to use the catalogue to capture all my little bits. So as I run this through, I've got a cover on this. So as I run it through, I'm going to push all the little bits out of here. This mat is very dull, shall I say, so it doesn't slide off easily like the table does. So that's the first one. The next one is going to be about your die brush. Now we have the Take Your Pick tool. You've seen us use this many times. We have this one. Then we have the other one, but I'm missing a part at the moment. I have worn out this, the die brush, so much that I should have ordered a new one, and I thought it was in the last order. You know what? I forgot to put it on. So I'm still minus my die brush at the moment. So I still have the old one that Stampin' Up had. And so I've got this one and it still works. So I am using the old version, but I recommend that you getting that for your Take Your Pick tool. Really good godsend. So I'm just going to run this through on here. So I always turn my dies over to make sure that it looks like it's cut all the way through, no matter what I'm doing really, but more so with the intricate dies. The holes on here, most of the time, are little release holes, so your bristles on here will push those dies away. Don't do it from the other side because it's not going to do anything. You're trying to push them away from the die. So you want these little bristles to go through the holes. So you're going to have that all over here. So let's just get that going through like that. Okay, and then I just literally, that will release off like so. The next step is to always make sure you have no little pieces left in here whatsoever. So there's no white in there at all. If you do, you need the pricky tool end of your Take Your Pick tool, and you want to be poking those out. I always do it before I put them away, because when you get them out and you're ready to cut something, you don't always think to check and look and make sure. So if you keep them all pristine, then you'll remember. So that's one going back on my magnet. And then this one, I wriggle these. I literally just wiggle. And this will fall out, okay? And there is my outside frame. I won't keep that. I mean, I keep my scraps, but there are limits. So if I just make sure that all of these pieces are out, there's a few little remaining ones. There's a couple in there, one there. So I'm just going to poke them through. But on the whole, most of these have come through well. Each of the emboss machines have a slightly different, they can vary slightly on the actual pressure, on the two rollers. I describe them as being like a mangle. So my fists are like that. You've got two rollers going round together, like Granny's old ringer. Okay, now it shouldn't make any difference if they're that way up or that way up. Okay, but sometimes I find it a good idea. So I will push that through the machine. I will put it through that way up, and then I will put it through that way up. Okay, anything you think to make it a good clean cut. This is just with your intricate dies, not for your normal ones. Okay, so that one is all now ready to use. So I'm going to put that on the card, slide these off my cover because it works really well. Get them out of the way. Now I'm going to do the next one. So this one here, sometimes you will find they will stick inside your dies, okay, on here. They will stick inside there because they go through with such a pressure. It's pushed in there, and you really, despite your brush, it doesn't want to leave it. It gets embedded in there so thickly. If that happens, oh, my camera's drooped again, look. Sorry, girls. I need to tighten that up. Let me just see if I can tighten that a bit. There we go. You don't want to see me, do you? There we go. Try that one. So if that happens, I recommend you do what I've got here for you. So I've prepped one ready. This is wax paper. So this is wax wrap. I mean, I've had this for years, and it just stays in my craft room here. It's got a waxy side and it's got a plain side. So you want the waxy side to the die. So my sandwich in this case is the die, the waxy side upwards, so it's going to oil inside there very, very loosely, but it will put some wax inside that die, which will help it release. Okay, and then you've got your cardstock as normal. Again, I've checked the back to make sure that they are all pressed out. So now I'm going to use my brush. Okay, it does come with a little mat, but I tend to, I don't really bother with the mat. I tend to use my hands more. Okay, let me go and get it so that you can see. Just a sec. Where's that one? I have the machine while I'm here as well. So I've got some plates for a bit later. Okay, they can go on there. So it comes with this little black mat. Now, another tip I've seen with this is people keep those inside an empty case. So you could put that inside an empty case with no stamps in there, because Stampin' Up sell them on their own, and you could actually have that in there and rub it within the case. And now I tend not to do that, only because I tend to not use my mat. But if you place that on the mat now, if I run that through, all it's doing is giving you a nice soft surface to rub through. But it comes automatically. I think it actually, the die head actually now comes with 2 of the mats. So all we're doing is rubbing that over there. It is a useful tool. I'm just lazy. I don't leave it out on my desk, so hence it doesn't get used. But it's important that you know that it's there. And it makes it go really, really smoothly on there. Now all of those pieces, it's going to just drop out. Okay, so again I'm going to remove the frame. Take all that away. I'll tap those pieces off there. So I'm sliding them all out onto the case here from the cover for my catalogue. Okay, you can go in there. Bin. So on here you will find what I'm pushing out now is not only the die but the piece of wax paper. Okay, so as this releases very, very gently, you'll see the outline here, so I can get rid of the outline. That will be good for several cuts, not just the one you're doing at the time. It will be good for a few cuts after that. Hi, Gillian. So I'm lifting this out of here, and it really is coming out quite well. Just be careful where you get to some that stick a little bit in there. Nothing's infallible, but it just makes it release easier. Now, I would never have got that out as easy as that before. So going back to my other tip, I've got some white pieces in here. So I'm going to poke those out. Now, the next time I use this, which I'm going to be doing again tomorrow, it will make the release easier because it's kind of got this light little wax coating inside there. I hope that makes sense. But that's how you're going to release those easily. And that's for your intricate dies. They will be stuck on here if you, so you're going to just peel that off. You really don't want to have that as well. It's just that once every now and again, just to help it release. And once you get it started, all of that wax paper will simply come away. It's a shame not to use it. Oh, that camera, so sorry. This is really droopy today. Let me just try and sort this. Don't know what's changed because it hasn't, as far as I'm concerned, it hasn't been moved. It's slowly falling, isn't it? I'll just keep an eye on it for you, and hopefully we'll be okay. It's really weird. Not sure what's going on. Anyway, so this is a piece that's the wax paper. It's such a shame to have to throw it, but it's very, very thin, and it's not really going to be any use to us. So there's my piece of die, all lovely and clear, ready to go. Okay, this was the bottom one. So you do it for both pieces, but it will be good for the next few turns through your die cutting machine. Okay, so I hope all that helped. We're going to do some heat embossing as well tonight. So that's the other piece. I'm going to place that with the card. So we're going to do white on white today. Clear the deck. So we've got a white base. We've got a white layer there for the bottom, and then this one will come on the top. So we'll do all of that shortly. Okay. You know what? I'm thinking it was going to be worth doing a background piece, but hey, for the little we see around there, I don't think it is going to be worth doing. So that's one decision you won't have to make. So that's that one. Okay, so that's ready to layer. So let's do that first, and then we'll go to the heat embossing. You should use blends on the wax paper and use it somehow. Yes, that would be interesting. I didn't buy that set, Rhonda. It wasn't my cup of tea, really. Last year I bought the one and I didn't really use it. So it was a special for listeners. It's a special set was brought out ahead of the next catalogue. So one of the perks of taking part in the Stampin' Up event is that you could purchase that early. But if it's not my cup of tea, it wasn't really something I wanted to put in my library. So yeah, I haven't done that. But I do hear what you're saying about using it for the technique. Yeah, that might work nicely. So this one here is the background one. So this isn't quite as intricate. So I'm just going to put some Tombow on here. Okay, and just spread it around. Okay, just a little bit up these branches. I used this piece for your Christmas background last year. It's really good, apart from just releasing it out of those dies. But if you're having a churning out session with the television on, a good film, it's a really nice, a very quick way of doing Christmas cards, because I'm going to show you another quick way with the sentiments. Okay, because I have got some sentiment. Well, I've got something that will work for the Alphabest set is really going to be good. So I'm going to take the tweezers. It's a bit big to get me tweezers actually. So my next thing is to centre this really well. I find that you cannot use this as a panel. You can't have a layer. It needs to be the whole card front. Okay, so I'm doing white on white. I've done a white class before now, a long while ago, and it's quite popular. But you can put your silvers. We're going to put the silvers with it, and so we're going to put some cherry cobbler for the sentiment. Now the next tip is bringing out your silicone mat. It's drooping again. I feel it's. Someone tell me why it is so droopy. Something's moved. Sorry, you're seeing my arm. Oh, that's gone even worse. In fact, if I put my finger over the camera, then you won't see me jiggling around, will you? Just trying to tighten everything up. Before, I would have said it was little guest using it for school, but it's not even that, because they've not been in here. So let's see how long that's going to hold. I'll have to have a real proper jig with it tomorrow. Okay, doke. Let's see how long that will last. Okay, so this is my silicone mat. This is the way it's going to lay on my layers, just making sure all the component pieces match. So I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to put a glob of Tombow. Can you see my Tombow? This is a Pringles lid. Those of you in the States, I'm sure you have Pringles. If not, another plastic lid of a container of some sort. So I use this one just for the Tombow. So I'm just going to massage some of that in, and I'm just going to dab on here. Okay, just get some of that. Just dab this all over the back. Keeps your fingers clean. I used to use sponge. But the Daubers, this is an old one. This is before Stampin' Up had Daubers. I found in my drawer the other day, and it was yeah, just an odd one, and I thought that would be good to use for this. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this over. Okay, now each one of these pieces will line up, will correspond with the shapes underneath. Just need a pair of glasses on. Okay, and I'm coming down. That's going to bug me today, isn't it? I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to roughly line this up with pieces on here. So you can see you've got a 2-layer effect. And if you just pick out some of the main pieces and just tap them down, the others will just fall into place. I'm not going to put pads on here because they're too tiny. Okay. And there, if I bring it up to the camera, you can see my double layers on here. Okay, like so. There we go. So it's white on white. Is it very difficult? I'm sorry. It's I'll do it again with a different colour another day, but it was what I'd got in mind for today's project. I wanted to do some heat embossing with you as well. So I'm going to chop across to my scraps of cherry cobbler. I think that piece might work well actually. You'll see that off the side of my camera because we're continuing to droop. Oh, okay, look. I don't think I've ever had this bad. Okay, look. So we'll leave that in view, and we need to have words. You can see it when you hold it close. Oh, excellent. That's good. Absolutely, Marilyn, I understand that. So the letters I'm going to do here, I'm going to put some letters through the middle here. Now, quickly pop some comments in here and tell me, so yeah, I see what you mean. That really is just whited out, isn't it? We'll take it out of screenshot for now. I'm going to do the letters. Now, we want some short letters that we're going to put across. We have a choice. We could go this way. I do prefer the upright. So I'm looking for short words on there, or 2 words that we could put, Christmassy words. We've obviously got Merry Christmas. Christmas is really a long word. So what would you like me to put on there tonight? I kind of have some ideas in mind, and I have some things already prepped ahead, but I want you to see me do them myself. Okay, this is the silver and gold trim. It's the elegant, Simply Elegant trim. So I'm going to be tying a little bow while I wait for some words to come up. So I am going to do bunny ears on here. I'm going to do a loop in this hand and a loop in this hand. Haven't shown you these lately, and then I'm going to crisscross them over. Remember how you tied I was taught to tie my shoelaces like this. So just pass it through the middle. There you've got your 2 loops, you've got your bow, and you're just going to pull these either side and just tighten it and pull them down, tighten it until you're happy with the size of your bow. Okay, now I'm going to do that once more just on the black mat here so that you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to bring these up to the camera a little bit more. I'm going to do a loop in this hand there. Okay, a loop in this hand. I pull this finger up, index finger on that one, and I'm just going to make a loop. So I have 2 loops. I'm passing one over the other and bringing this finger to push it through the hole underneath and tighten it. You don't want to lose your ends, just keep hold of the ends. I use this hand to pull this loop down. So I'm basically pulling this string and this string. Okay, it's just I have a knack of doing it because I do it all the time. Okay, so there's my little bow. It is quite a slippery cord, should I say? I think that's the best way to describe it. So I'm just going to cut those off at the same length, and we can trim it again later if we need. So that's another one for tonight. So that's ready to go on when we're finished. So we want some words, some Christmas words. Anybody got any ideas? If not, I'm just going to go with, I had planned out maybe Noel, because Noel was a nice short word. So let's pick the letters out of here. So I've got an N, okay, over there. I'm going to line them up, but I need to leave a big enough gap to, where's the punch gone? Punch, punch, punch. I had it here, I just showed you, didn't I? Now it's as far, oh, there it is. I need to leave enough gap between these to be able to punch that piece out. So don't put them right close to each other. So there's the N, yo ho ho. Oh, look at that. Don't worry, Maxine, you said you were out to this evening, didn't you? You might not make it. So let's do Noel first, because I've started doing this one, and then I'll do yo ho ho. N-O, doesn't matter if they're straight. We try and get them and make it easy for ourselves as we can. Oh, what's that? That's the T. Let me just put that one back. N-O-E. And it doesn't matter if they're upside down when you can't see fully. The red ring on here is the F. My F is missing. That was down to having children playing last year. I had our visitors, there was three children, and they were making cards, and it wasn't till quite a few days later I realised it was missing, and there was no way I could find it. So there's no L ready, and I'm going to wipe along here with my Stampin' Buddy. Okay, this is just a powder in here, and it's very fine woven, so it makes sure any greasy marks from your fingers is not going to stick the powder to it on here. So we do have the embossing additions tool here. So I'll take the whole lot out for you. I keep it all together in here because there's a new, that's what you get as a new one. Mine's grubby because I've had it for years. This will last you forever, literally forever. So we have the tray here, so we could use the tray today. We have a brush and we have tweezers. Now, you know me and my tweezers. These are reverse tweezers, so you squeeze it to let go. And my brain sometimes struggles with that. So, but for heat embossing, it is the bee's knees. It does what it needs. This is a little brush we'll use in a little while. So we're going to use silver today. So I use my Versamark ink pad. And I'm going to stamp up these letters. Okay, just tap along there. You can buy the refill for the Versamark as well. So now I'm going to stamp this onto my red, my cherry. So if I use that into the middle and stamp that down. The Versamark is like a watermark. It's clear, but it's like sticky, like a bit of gluey sort of texture. So I stack those to one side. If I place this in my tray and take my silver powder, okay, we can just sprinkle that into the dish. Okay, I haven't got the fan on tonight, so it's not going to blow everywhere. Now when I turn that over, I like to give it a flick on the back there, just to take all those loose particles off. And then we're going to use this, we sweep it all down to the end, and it will come out of the little nozzle at the end here. You unscrew that. Obviously if you're doing lots, then you can do it later on. Okay, so that's that down. And then we use the brush to bring all of that powder, so we don't waste anything. Sweep it all the way down, push it down that last bit, and then we're done. Okay, and it's gone back into the pot. Pop that back on. That type of tray have been around for a little while, but it's nice to have all the branded things together. So now I'm going to hold this in my tweezers, so I'm going to get hold of that. This end tip on here is heat resistant, so it's not going to travel all the way up the metal handle. Okay, so I'm just going to heat that with my heat tool. Hopefully that's not too loud for you. You're just moving it along. None of this wafting business. Wafting does not do any good. I see people waft like this. The idea is you want it to concentrate on there. You concentrate it because you actually want it to melt. If you're wafting like this, it's just cooling it down instead of heating as hot as you'd like. I have got a few little speckles just stayed on there. I'm going to take my scissors and chop that off. That piece can go back in the scraps. Now you'll see how easy this is to line up on here. I'm going to literally take one of these at a time. There's the L. Put that on there. We'll turn it round and do the O, this end. Just get it into the centre. Punch the N. Then you've got two more, but if we snip those off as well. Okay, we can hold one end and we can get the E first of all. Oh, I'll show you this one as well. If you find you haven't got much left to get hold of here, I showed this to someone the other day and they thought that was the genius. So I literally snip that mostly down, not all the way, just nearly all the way, and I fold this piece back. Okay, you know we use the post-it notes a lot, but this is just folded a piece of the card back. This will allow me to get this in the gap. I can punch that as long as I haven't gone too far, I hope. There we go, there's the E. And then pop that in. Oops. and then move it along. I've got this handle and it's sliding up and down. Okay, so you've got room to maneuver that in, just like you would a post-it note, except this is stronger because it's card. There we go. You sometimes scorch the paper. It is possible to overcook the embossing powder. I know it sounds daft, but it really is. This camera is really bugging me today. I'm sorry, ladies. I'll bring it back again. Yes, it's really, it is possible to scorch. You can burn. The glossiness on these, when you get the letters, you can overcook it, and then it'll go dull. And I found out myself that just through it happening to me, that you can actually, the embossing powders do have an age limit. If you suddenly find that you put your powder on, you're doing everything the same as normal, and you're not getting the glossy effect, it's really flat, it's not raised, it's just dull looking, try buying a new pot, because it really does make a difference. I bought a brand new pot and it was back to normal. So it's not where I've stored it, it's not been in the cold, it's been in the same place, but I hadn't used them for a long while. Sorry, I'm just dithering over here looking for my dimensionals. So yeah, they do have a life limit timeline. Now on here, because we're using white, I'm going to use the white dimensionals. I was using Project today and I needed black. I totally forgot we had black. This is going to be too big for there, so I'm going to use some of the edges. In fact, I'm going to use edges from the smaller ones, I believe, if I can find some. No, I've got all of these ones left. Okay, we'll use some of the edges from here. These ones. We'll get the snips out. Okay, so we'll just cut some of these sections off, and we can probably get, we'll probably get 2 of those on there, I think. Maybe not 2, go for 1.5. So 1.5, half and 1, 1.5, half and 1. Okay, 1.5. There we go. So ready to use. Just pop that in there. And there. In there. And the last one. There we go. So pop those away. And remove these. Now I like to go from the middle. So these are in the right order. So I've got an O here. So if I go think of where the centre is, you can still see me, can't you? Yeah. So the O, if that's the centre, I want to be slightly left of the centre. And then the E is going to come the other side. It might be, if you've got a long word, it might be worth having them written down in front of you and put a little line where the middle is, just to keep yourself in order. Okay, that's that one, and then we're going to go either side of that. I think I did this recently with something going downwards, didn't I? Oh, the halo on the little typewriter, the little round discs, and I started in the middle and went either side, then either side again. So that's all we're doing on there, and then we've got an L on the end. Now, if you don't think you can keep them in a straight line, you can always put them deliberately higgledy-piggledy. Oh, just covered my bin. There we go. So there's my Noel in there. And then I have my little silvery bow here to pop in the corner. Now, I just need to find my mini glue dots. Okay, they've disappeared. There they are, hiding. Always in the same place. Something else on top. So these are our mini glue dots. Okay. No, Marilyn, I never knew. There isn't really a sell-by date as such. It's just they suddenly started going all funny. Not the Stampin' Up ones. These were some that I'd had long before I did Stampin' Up. So they were well old. They were, you know, they'd been around a little while. Sorry, I just did that while I was talking. You probably didn't see me do that. So you can see on here, a little mini glue dot is here by the tweezers. Can you see that one just on there? So what I did here with the previous one, I just got the end and I rolled it as a little sausage. I'll try and do it under the camera. Okay, so I've got this here and I'm just pushing it and it's rolling up like a little sausage. Okay, because when you get a fine little bow like that, you don't want to have a great big, the whole side of your mini glue dot. Now, I'll probably bring it up, but I don't actually be able to see it. But can you see just at the end of my tweezers? Can you see there's a little sausage there? Just carrying on from the end of my tweezers. Okay, and then I'm going to put this little bow on top of that little sausage. Okay, I don't know what to call it, but that's, yeah, you know, I call a spade a spade. There you go. So it's just rolled it up, so it's little sausage-like piece, really. What else can I call it? Okay, and you can tailor your ends of your bows. You can do whatever you like with those. But that's that. So now what I was thinking I would do with this is to grab my Wink of Stella, and I haven't got any backing paper, have I? No paper to hand. Let's see what we can find. This wax paper is available. I found it. I've had this for donkey's years. You can tell by the price tag on there. It's you can get it in cook shops. You probably get it in the supermarket. I don't know. I haven't looked lately. I haven't needed to. Once you buy a roll, it's one of those things that's just going to last you forever, and you're not going to keep. You're only going to use it occasionally. Okay. So I'm going to pop this on here with the Wink of Stella. If you wanted to, let's get you in the middle. Jolly classy. Oh, bless you. Thank you. Every day's a school day. Yeah. I'm laying this on here, and I want you could, if you wanted to, you could actually colour some pieces in, just accent some pieces. If you were going to do that, you could do a layer of silver and a layer of white. I need to order some more silver as well, so that's another on my list. I have got a list on the go, and I've got a customer's order here, so I need to be popping those through. So I'm just going to splatter on here for today. Okay, so I'm literally holding the nib downwards, and I'm just going to tap on here. I squeezed it to make sure that there was Wink of Stella in the nib. So I did that on the side of my card, not over here. If you do it over your card, you guarantee you'll get a blob. We don't want that. So just tap on this one coming down, okay? Angle it downwards. And I can see there's lots of splatters coming out. Okay, I used to do it the other way round, as some of you might know. And then I was doing it this way, but your pen is going up and you're flicking it everywhere. But with this one coming downwards onto the surface, you're knocking it downwards. So it is definitely the best way to do it. Okay, if you don't want the splatters on your letters, you can obviously do it before you put your letters on. Okay, I'm going to hold this gently so that I don't smudge those dots. I'm going to bring it up to the camera, and hopefully you'll be able to see some of those sparkles on there. Might be difficult on the camera, as you said earlier. There are some silvery bits on there. I think I just caught some at the top here. You can see there's some around the top there and one at the top there. But it is splattered all over. Like you say, it's difficult to see on the white. Okie doke. So I'm going to pop that to one side, and then I'm going to show you what Merry Christmas would have looked like as well. Because I stamped these all right already. So you can do your letters like this. So I got Merry on that one, and this is using Scraps Up again. So, and then I got Christ and Mass. Okay. So you can use bits, but you don't have to line them all up. You could literally have tiny pieces of scrap and put one letter on each. Doesn't matter with that respect. It's just I did them like this because I thought it might be easier to show you. So if I wanted to do Merry, I've got Merry there. So if I just turn it on its side and stamp the Merry R. Obviously you've only got single letters, so I had to do MERY. And then I had to do another R along there. So just line these up to the punch, not to the card. Okay. Jolly, jolly flexible set. This really is. I love it. I always love a good alphabet, always. But when it's like this and it's punches and you can do whatever you like with it, it's even better. Occasionally you just have to chop that away just to get your punch near. Ouch, get flesh in the bottom there, leave that out of the way. So there's Merry, so you can see that one. Put Merry over there. I'll do work this one backwards. Can you still see me? Yeah, not droopy camera yet. Okay, put these ones in. Now the S, I'm a little bit, I'm not quite sure yet whether there's a top and a bottom. I think if I was going to put it, I'd probably put that way up. I don't know why that looks better than that. It's just personal taste. I think it's equal. It might just be a optical illusion. And just move them all along. Okay, so as soon as you get to where you've already filled up, I'm not going to do that because I'll probably end up shortening it too much. Like I say, you can, I'll do it on another one, you can use the outline pieces as well, and I love them as well. You're just removing these pieces as you go. There's the H. There we go, and turn it round and you get your C. There we go, so these will be ready for another one. Merry Christmas. Okay. Oh, I might have gone a bit close there. Right on the edge. Come in another one. That's right underneath there. The little line around the outside side does really look sweet. But because of so many, I'd probably have some done for you before I start like I did today. There you go, so Merry Christmas. So on that respect, you would want to have that one coming long landscape on a card. So if we had these rows here, we had another set here, you'd be able to lay those over and then have those bunched up. I'm just going to lay it on for you so you can see what it could look like. Let's bring them all up a bit. Droopy droops. Okay, can you see all of that now? So I would do this landscape card, but you can overlap them. You can have them move along, you can play about with the spacing. This is why it's good to work out from the centre first. I have done these higgledy-piggledy on things on other projects. M-A-S, like so. And then you've got the Merry sitting on top of it. So you kind of bring them down a little bit. Kind of get the gist, can't you? And then the Y. So that's what it could look like on a card going landscape on the page. And I think what I thought I was going to do was a background on here. Like a Merry Christmas, I got out the brick one, the latest one, and a couple of others, like the fern, but the fern would have been too much. So I don't think with this nice simple card, the pine cones do all the work. Okay, so I don't think we need to do anything else with that one. I'll tilt it again so you can see. You can see the layers. Oops, a bit late. And you'll have to go back to the start. Lots of hints and tips on special, your intricate dies. Okay, because today is the 25th of June, 6 months today is Christmas Day. Okay, so Sandra's just having a funny moment today. Have you done die cutting greens? Yes, I have. I've got half a one somewhere over the other side of the table. I'm working on another project at the moment. Okay, so you will see that. You will get to see that. And there will be lots more Christmas coming up, don't worry. But anyway, I'm going to bring you back to me for now and say hello. So there's the card. Is it easier if you could, can you see it clearer up that way? Okay. If I get that one out of the way, now it's not actually showing anywhere. That might be easier for you to see. There we go. How's that? It shows a lot better on there rather than the overhead lights because it's facing straight to you. Okie doke. So there you go. My first Christmas card of 2024. 2023. Okay. Thanks, Rhonda. Yeah, lovely to be here again. So today is Sunday. We have Wednesday night. I might do another one with this one just because I try and keep a week the same, either Wednesday then Sunday or Sunday then Wednesday. So I might, as everything's out, I might do another one. Okay, and then we'll put Christmas away for a little while. Okay, so I'll just remind you that it's coming towards the end of the month. So Friday is the last day of the month. So the offer for the sign up, the recruit starter pack and the starter kit and the designer series papers with the 15% off. If anybody wants those, please get in touch with me, let me know, or contact your own demonstrator. And I will be back again here on Wednesday. Okay, so take care. Friday night, I'll remind you again Wednesday, but Friday night and Saturday morning is GIST, our Global Inspiration Stamp team, our global group. We do every other month, and we do live presentations. So you will be having the usual crowd. It is for customers really, but I do have team members in there as well, because team members can learn obviously as well. Okay, so that's all from me at the moment. Any questions, as always, please drop me a line and say hi, and